Hey guys, Desolator Magic, and it's finally time for another MTG Mistakes. This one is really simple, but a ton of people get this wrong. But only people who have never played online. Otherwise, you see this once and you're like, oh, I didn't know that that's how that worked, and then you know it. Now, if you thought that was an endorsement for Magic the Gathering Online, oh, hell no. How mentally deficient would a person have to be to play MTGO? It is a glitchy, crashing, slow, non-working pile of crap. Oh, and by the way, I used to be a professional software designer, so trust me when I say I could write something better, minus the actual card logic, in probably about a week. Maybe two if I wanted to make it look really pretty. They obviously keep hiring just completely incompetent idiots to work on the software, or they keep shipping it out to cheap, low-balling third-party foreign countries where the teams have no idea what they're doing. But then there's the fact that you're paying the money to lease cards, and even that's a little generous legally. You know, like when you sign up for RuneScape or World of Warcraft, and then they get all pissy when you try to sell your account or sell some equipment, which didn't stop me. Because you're not allowed to sell it because you don't own it. Like that 100 million gold you have in RuneScape, you don't own that. It's the property of Jagex Ltd. Totally just forgot that for a second. You don't own a damn thing, even if you literally paid for an item. Like it says it on the digital receipt. You still don't own it. So if you open an online booster, you don't own it. You just paid them for something that you don't own, when in reality you could buy the cards and own them. There's no Wizards repo team coming to your house to repossess your physical Magic cards. But one little password slip up or one little ban and your entire collection is now repossessed. Slight disclaimer, they don't tend to do that. Even when somebody was caught, I believe, cheating and had his account deleted, they somehow reimbursed him or something like that. But I'm not going to pay hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands of dollars to borrow some cards. It's not even borrowing, it's not even leasing, it's not owning, it's not anything. You're just paying them to use the platform and use the software, which, by the way, is a pile of crap. Now, I should mention that comparing it to an MMO is not necessarily accurate. I'm not sure of their exact precise wording of their terms, because there is like that physical card redemption policy. But I'm just assuming that they basically have similar wording. Something that basically says you don't own the cards. But I do not know that that is 100% true. Magic Duels even was a glitchy pile of crap. These idiots don't know how to make software. I was also a programming tutor for a college that I went to. All of my students passed, so not only do I know how to program, I know how to teach people how to program, and I know how to take bad programmers and make them good programmers. I know how to take bad software and make it good software. So trust me when I say with absolute authority that software is a joke and it's an insult to anybody who works in my industry. What was this video actually even about? Oh, I was supposed to be talking about some triggered effect that goes on the stack or something. And instead of talking about triggers, I got triggered! If I had any kind of video editing talent or software, I'd make the screen shake with some distorted. You guys know the meme. So anyway, don't play MTGO, play Xmage. It's 100% free, and it's like made in Java by volunteers in Germany, but it's pretty good. I mean, I'd say it's about 99% spot on, accurate, and working, which is pretty damn good. I mean, I think they got MTGO beat. If Wizards ever file some kind of takedown against their company, I swear that will be like the end for them. They will have people showing up with torches and pitchforks outside their headquarters. I personally will never let them forget it. But if you were to play on Xmage, you would know that this certain condition happens, and people tend to screw it up in paper Magic, so definitely want to learn this one. So you've got a Phalanx leader out on the battlefield. Good, that means you built a good deck and you know what you're doing. So he's sitting out on the battlefield, and you decide, oh, I'm going to hit him with, some spell. Doesn't matter, some instant. Cool, now you get like the heroic, oh no! In response, your opponent casts, Doomblade. Now Doomblade is on the top of the stack, so it resolves in reverse order, and oh no, your Phalanx leader is dead. Now you don't get the heroic ability because he's no longer there, right? Wrong. If any triggered ability on any creature, any artifact, anything, enchantment, permanent, doesn't matter. If you had a triggered ability go off, nothing can remove it from the stack except for something that specifically removes it from the stack. So basically like artificially ending the turn. Or definitely a card like Summary Dismissal, which says exile all other spells and counter all abilities. They're referring to ones on the stack. It makes absolutely no sense logically that before your spell even went off, the creature was killed, and yet the heroic ability still goes off when there's nothing left to target. I mean, it really seems to violate the laws of like causality or physics and like time travel. It makes no sense, but they made it a rule, so it is what it is. Basically what happens is he's out on the battlefield, okay, the stack's empty. Then you target him with the spell, or you like start targeting him, or you like declare him as a target, and then his triggered ability goes onto the stack, then your spell goes onto the stack. I actually might have that order backwards, but it doesn't matter because it's completely irrelevant. Then after that, their kill spell goes on the stack, so then it resolves in reverse order. Kill spell, okay, he's gone. Then your spell completely gets countered because you no longer have a valid target, and then the heroic trigger, because that makes sense. It really doesn't make sense, which is why, people obviously constantly get it wrong. Now, the same can be said about, like, the Eldrazi Titans, any kind of on-cast. That's less about the stack and more about just terminology. Whenever they say cast, they actually mean attempt to cast, not successfully cast, which is obviously the definition or the connotation that you would think of when you hear the word cast. In fact, people just kind of think past tense, like it has been cast. So if you're attempting to cast Ulamog for 10, so you pay 10 mana and say, I'm casting him, and somebody, uses a cancel and counters him, it says when you cast Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger, exile 2 target permanents. So that effect still goes off because you attempted to cast it, and that trigger, it's basically a triggered ability, even though it's not even a permanent yet. It's a triggered ability of the card, I guess. I'm actually not sure about that one either, but again, completely irrelevant. But anyway, that ability goes onto the stack, and there's just no way to remove it from the stack other than removing it from the stack. So they could counter him all day, you're still going to exile 2 target permanents, and that's why I absolutely love creatures that instead of an enter the battlefield effect, they have a on cast effect. Now, of course, I should probably mention that if they have an enter the battlefield effect and then the spell is countered, the permanent, the card never becomes a permanent on the battlefield. It never enters the battlefield because the spell never resolved. On top of the stack, the spell was targeted and countered and then thus removed from the stack. So I'd say that pretty well covers it. So the 24th MTG mistake is Magic the Gathering Online. It still is, okay? It still is. Screw this triggered crap. I'm triggered. I'm still triggered over it. If you guys need me, I'll be in my safe space. See you next video.